Imagine a place where you can be on the water 10 minutes after work or the first tee box at 5:05. A place where the warm Gulf waters flow past available sites and developed land in a state with no income tax. A place with a highly skilled and readily available workforce. In a city with local business development funds and the desire to invest in new job creation. Imagine that city with a deep water port, a nationally recognized training program, and a pro-business community able to educate itself in close cooperation with the needs of area industry. Imagine yourself in Port Arthur, Texas. Situated at the center of the Gulf Coast on the Texas-Louisiana border, Port Arthur has carved itself a unique place in America's history. In fact, you might say America's industrial age began around Port Arthur not long after Arthur Stilwell founded the city. Spindletop, the nation's first huge oil discovery, was made in 1901. From that day, industry and Port Arthur have remained inseparable. We immediately grew into the world's largest oil refining complex. But as the oil industry declined, skilled laborers turned to other business to use their skills. To answer these workers' needs for labor placement, Port Arthur has established a pilot program, the Career Development Center.
Nobody has a center of this magnitude in the state of Texas. There is no other system that has pulled together this many employment and training services into one particular location like Port Arthur has.
This new approach to assessing labor is a critical advantage for Port Arthur.
My firm, Gulf Copper, we normally employ somewhere between 100 and 150 people here in Port Arthur. We do not have facilities like this. This is a very important adjunct to our physical facilities.
Governor Bush opened the center in 1996, a first for Texas and the nation.
It's a one-stop shopping place. In other words, there's all kinds of services provided here, assessments and needs assessments and retraining, and to be able to place people for jobs that they're good at doing, and I think that's important.
When the specific needs of an employer are identified, custom training programs are designed and created by leaders of local industry and implemented by American building contractors, the Stilwell Center, and Lamar University.
We have facilities on campus that may be used for customized training. If a business or an industry needs to train 25 or 30 or 100 persons in a particular skill area, we're able to provide that expertise by locating instructors who meet the qualifications that are necessary for that particular field.
Lamar's 34-acre Port Arthur campus specializes in vocational technical training, 2-year university degrees, and baccalaureate preparation. Its sister component, the Lamar campus in Beaumont, is 19 miles away and completes bachelor, master's, and doctoral degrees. Aside from its skilled labor force, Port Arthur also offers unrivaled access to every major form of transportation. The 1,100-mile-long Intracoastal Canal flows right through Port Arthur, just 19 miles from deep water in the Gulf of Mexico, facilitating easy entry with approximate travel time of 1 hour from open sea to berth. Compare that with the estimated one-day journey necessary from the Gulf to our neighboring Port of Houston. The Port of Port Arthur is one of the country's busiest ports, ranking it in the nation's top 20, and a recent $34 million expansion will extend the current 1,200-foot port to 3,200 feet, promising peerless efficiency. Need rail access? Port Arthur is served by both Kansas City Southern and Southern Pacific Railways, with lines adjacent to most every major industrial site. Our state and interstate highway system is one of the best in the nation. This gives trucks direct routes on uncongested arteries such as U.S. Highway 69, 96, 287, the newly expanded State Highway 73 to Interstate 10, the #1 east-west corridor in the nation, State Highway 87, and others. Jefferson County Airport has over 1,100 acres for development, hangar space, and warehouse facilities with daily service throughout Texas and Louisiana. Unlike most other cities, Port Arthur is not restricted to state and federal development programs. The citizens overwhelmingly voted a half-cent sales tax increase to be used at the discretion of local leaders for economic development purposes.
The people of Port Arthur is looking forward to welcoming new industry and will put their money where their mouth is.
Port Arthur is in a unique position to do what it takes to accommodate new industry and business, a position supported by the hardworking men and women who live here. Tax benefits, financing, enterprise zones, training, a free trade zone, and other impressive benefits await businesses coming to Port Arthur, Texas.
I'm proud to represent Port Arthur because it is a community that is working hard for a future that is as successful as its past is and is bright. The mayor, the city council, the Chamber of Commerce are dedicated to making it easy to do business in Port Arthur.
There are hundreds of acres of prime industrial waterfront sites stretching some 17 miles from the port to the Gulf of Mexico, and existing buildings from 3,000 to 150,000 square feet are plentiful. On the drawing boards are plans for a comprehensive state-of-the-art industrial park. Regional planners see the benefit of locating this world-class facility in Port Arthur close to waterways, air, highway, and rail access. Shirt-sleeve weather almost year-round is perfect for getting the job done without costly delays, which leaves more time for year-round golf, water sports, gardening, hunting, birding, beachcombing, or world-class fishing. Combined with these great recreational opportunities, the low cost of living and housing give Port Arthur an additional edge in quality of life. You can live on the mainland or on Pleasure Island, a residential and recreational haven where you can still find waterfront lots with lake access for as little as $25,000. And speaking of access, our well-developed transportation plan makes our city of 60,000 flow congestion-free. You can't go 10 blocks without finding a 4-lane thoroughfare. The Museum of the Gulf Coast is just one of dozens of culturally rich destinations in Port Arthur. Community activities and events create opportunities for family and friends to get involved in fun and fellowship. Our Mardi Gras celebration is one of the largest in the nation. Quick getaways to Houston for professional sports, and all the other amenities you'd expect from one of the world's largest cities are just 80 miles away. And if you love spicy Cajun food, Vietnamese cuisine, Southern cooking, and the best seafood on the Gulf Coast, we've got it. In fact, the annual Port Arthur Day in the state capital has become an eagerly anticipated favorite with state politicians and employees who only experience our down-home hospitality and famous gumbo once a year. But what really makes Port Arthur an easy choice isn't our abundance of business opportunities, the easy access to our many well-developed forms of transportation, or the variety of our recreational and cultural activities. It's the people. Experience the can-do attitude of Southeast Texas. Port Arthur, open for business.